Hi, it's Jodi. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I will be showing you how to make homemade pierogies right from scratch. So there's lots of things involved when we make homemade pierogies. First of all, we're going to have to make the dough, and secondly, we're going to have to make the filling. So first off, we're going to start with the filling. I've got here on the stove 5 medium potatoes, or 2 pounds. You're going to peel them and put them in a pot of cold water, bring them to a boil, salt the water, and it's going to be like you're making mashed potatoes. Okay, so you're going to cook them till they're ready to mash, then we're going to mash them up and continue with the filling. So there you go, the potatoes are started. Secondly, in my potato filling, I like to have some sauteed onions. So we're going to get that started now because you want everything to cool before you make the pierogies. So I've got 2 medium-sized cooking onions peeled. We're going to cut them into fine dice, saute them in a pan, and then that will be added to our potatoes. So we're just going to start with cutting them up fine. Oops, there you go. Just a fine dice or a fine chop, whatever works for you. Remember, they're going to be hidden inside the potato and cheese filling. Okay. There we go. Get them through. There. Just chop them all up fine. Then we're going to be sauteing them in some butter, almost to, you want to almost caramelize them, okay? Let's see, our potatoes are starting to boil now. We can just turn this down a little bit. There we go. Sound like they're going to take off on us. Okay, get this all chopped up. Looks like a lot of onions on now, but when they cook down, they lose some of that volume. Okay, put a nice knob of butter in your pan. I've got it turned on. Let that melt, and then we'll get cooking the onions. There. Okay, there. Potatoes are all cut up. Now we'll just get them into the pan. We'll let that butter melt down. Okay. There we go. Get all these onions out of here. And we'll let them start cooking. So we're back now. Our potatoes have boiled and I've drained them in a colander. And my little trick is, once you drain them, you don't want your potatoes to be wet. So as soon as you drain them, you'll put them back in your pot and then put them back onto your hot element that you cooked on and just let them steam a little bit to get rid of some of the moisture. Okay, so we're all ready there. They seem to be quite dry. I've shredded here 8 ounces or half a pound of old cheddar cheese. If you don't want old cheddar cheese, you can put whatever kind of cheese you'd like in there, but I like the old cheddar. And then we've got our onions that we've caramelized and they've cooled on the side. So now we've got to mash our potatoes. My fun little fast way to mash potatoes is with a hand blender. Okay? So we'll just blend them up. And this way, this ensures that there's no lumps in your potatoes. So their potatoes are all mashed up. And you can do this as well for when you're making mashed potatoes for dinner. Just use your hand blender. So we just give them a little stir. Okay, we'll add our onions now to the potatoes, which don't forget, add salt and pepper to them as well, because you want those to be seasoned. So we'll just add our onions. There. The onions really give a nice flavor to the potatoes. If you don't like onions, leave them out. There we go. And now we'll add all of our cheese as well. Just pour it in like that. And now just give it a stir. And then the cheese will all melt in the potatoes. The onions will mix through. And then you're gonna taste it and see for seasoning. Add a little bit of extra salt and pepper if you need it. There we go, look how good that looks. Just mix it around. There, and this is your filling for your cheese and potato pierogies. Okay, let me just get a spoon and I'm going to test them for seasoning. Let me see here. A little bit extra salt and some pepper. And that should be good. Okay, so just stir it through and then set this aside to cool, because now we're gonna come back and make our dough for our pierogies. Okay, so now we're gonna make our dough for our pierogies, and it's super, super easy. So we'll start with 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got 2 cups of full-fat sour cream, 1 egg, which we will break into the sour cream. Okay, and then we'll just mix this up. Just like that. There we go. Okay, pretty well blended together. I know it seems like a lot of sour cream, doesn't it? But it makes this dough so awesome. And now we'll add the sour cream, egg mixture, right into our flour. Okay, there, get everything out of there. There. Okay. Now we'll just grab a fork and we're going to start blending that sour cream into the flour. See how easy that is? See, now you're not gonna go out and buy those pre-made pierogies anymore. Something fun to do at home on a Sunday afternoon, a rainy day. Delicious. There we go. Okay, now we'll just take that off the fork. Now, make sure your hands are all clean. Now we'll go right into the bowl and do the final mixing of the dough. Okay, just like that. Okay. Look how easy. We're almost done. Almost done. Get it all mixed in. Should feel a little bit sticky. Okay, look, you can see on my hands how it is sticking. I know you're probably all thinking, oh my gosh, all that sour cream. But no, it's really makes for a really nice, soft, tender dough. So we'll just, there we go. Move that out of the way, put it right onto the counter, and we'll give it its kind of final knead before we start rolling it out. Okay. Now, if you find that it is really too sticky, just add a little bit of flour to it. But when you roll it out, you'll see that you flour your counter. So that's when I add the extra flour to it. Okay, there we go. Just take it off your fingers. like that. There. And now we're all ready to roll it out. So we're back now. We've got our dough all finished, and it's time to roll out the dough and assemble our pierogies. So now we'll just flour our counter, and I've cut the dough in half. We'll only roll out half at a time, okay? And we'll just press it down here to roll. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've got a sheet pan on the side that I've covered with parchment paper and a little bit of flour on top. That's where we'll put our finished pierogi. If you don't have parchment paper, just put a tea towel on top. Okay, put a little bit of flour on that. Also, I put a pot of boiling water on, and this will be ready for you when it's time to cook your pierogies. Okay, so we'll just start by flouring the top of our dough and rolling it out. Okay, you want it quite thin because you don't want it to be too doughy. You don't want it really, really thin because then your filling is going to come through. Okay, you'll figure it out as you go along. You might like it thick with a lot of dough, but I just try to get quite thin. What I guess I'm trying to say is you don't want to see through it. That's for sure. Your filling's going to come right through when it cooks, okay? Make sure your filling is cool or room temperature. And there we go. Okay, that should be fine because you're going to stretch it a little bit when you're actually making your pierogies, okay? So there. So dough is all rolled out. Just grab one of your glasses. You decide the size that you want. You're going to cut out a circle like so. There you go. Okay. I have a little ice cream scoop. You can use just a teaspoon. You're going to put a ball in the middle. Don't put too much because you don't want that filling to be touching the side of your pierogi or it's not going to seal. Okay, you're just going to bring it up. Hold on like that. See, you don't have any filling on the edges and you're just going to pinch. If it starts to stick, put a little bit of flour on your fingers and you're just going to pinch. Look at that. That look good. A little bit more flour and pinch, 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 pinch all the way around. There you go. One pierogi done. So we'll put that on our pan. Now you'll cut out another circle. Okay. In the palm of your hand like that. A scoop of potato and cheese filling. Bring it up and over. Not getting any of the filling on the edge of the dough, and pinch, 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 pinch. There, make sure you pinch it good so that it doesn't open up in the water. Okay, so there you go. Just continue on until you've used up all your dough, and then we'll go ahead with the next step. Okay, so now we're all done our pierogies. Out of that batch of dough and filling, we got 45 pierogies, enough for a meal. Okay, so from here now, we're going to get them dinner ready. So that involves cooking them in boiling water, and then from there, putting them into a frying pan. I've got some onions started. I've put some butter in the pan, and I've got some onions sauteing. So we'll just let that go. And now we're going to drop some pierogies into our boiling water. Okay, so I'll just take them here and just one by one, we're going to drop them in. And we're not going to cook them all at once. Maybe this 45 number we'll cook, say, in 3 batches. Okay? So there we go. We'll just start with that many. We'll put them up here. Now we'll give them a little, just gently stir them around, and we're going to cook them until they float to the top. Okay, and then from there, we're going to drain them, put them into our pan with our onions, and give them a quick saute. Okay, so our pierogies have been boiling for, say, a couple minutes now, and see how they're coming to the top? They're ready to be taken out. So I just have one of my strainers here. This is a fabulous tool in the kitchen. And from here, I just put them into my pan of onions, where I'm going to give them a nice little saute. Okay, there we go. And then you'll just repeat this step with all your pierogies. Put them into a nice oven-proof pan. Stick them into a warm oven while you get everything else cooked. Okay, so we'll just move them around. Now at this point, I'm sauteing them with just onions. But if you want, you can saute up some bacon ahead of time. And at this point, when they're almost ready to come out of the pan, just sprinkle some bacon on top. Just saute for a little bit longer, and then out they come. Okay. So, oh, they smell so delicious. So we'll just let these get some color on both sides, and then they'll be ready for dinner. There. And at this point, which I sometimes do if you really have the energy and you want to cook a whole lot, oh, there goes the cuckoo clock. You can just cook them to this point and then put them in freezer packs, whatever freezer containers you have, and then pop them in the freezer, and when you want them for dinner, just pull them out and just give them a quick warm up in a frying pan. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're almost ready to flip. Look at that. See, just a little bit of color. Now you can saute them as long as you want. Some people like them really crispy. Me personally, I don't. I just like a little bit of color on them. Okay, just a little bit crispy. So you cook them to the degree of doneness that you want. There we go. Just let them saute a little bit. And when they're ready, we'll be back and I'll put them on a plate and show you the finished product. Okay guys, there you have it. We're all done our pierogi. So much better than opening up that bag out of the freezer, isn't it? So just like I say, follow my recipe like I told you, follow my video, and you will have perfect pierogi every time. Enjoy.